I'm Aaron Matus with D1 Ticker and Collegiate Sports Connect. Thrilled to be joined today by the new athletic director at Omaha, Adrian Dowell. Adrian, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on, Aaron.
Want to start with the fact that it was 2 weeks ago, roughly, that you were officially named the athletic director. So give us a little insight into what the last 2 weeks have been like for you.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind for sure. You always see the press conferences when various ADs get the job, but you don't realize is what happens afterwards, right? So I mean, the reality is for about 2 weeks, you're doing two jobs, right? Certainly want to wrap up everything we can here at Creighton, and then at the same point, you're trying to get your ducks in a row at UNO. So a lot of work on that end over the past 2 weeks, but officially starting tomorrow, it's back to just having one job.
You mentioned it, December 1st being the first official day. So give us a peek at your calendar for tomorrow. What do you do as the first day on the job as an athletic director?
Yeah, well, actually, I think the first day is going to start tonight around 5:30. There was a welcome reception with about 100 of our top donors at UNO, and we have a men's basketball game tonight. So we'll start tonight, but first thing tomorrow, right, you've got to meet with the IT guy, right? You got to get set up, you got to get the computer and iPad and everything else going on. And then certainly want to spend some time with our executive team at UNO on a one-on-one basis, just to get to know them a little bit more and also hear more about the operations. And then also, trying to find the head coaches that are in the office and kind of do that walk around in the hallway, introduce yourself officially. And then you really start that transition plan. Right. I mean, I think the first 3 to 4 months of any AD's tenure is probably the most critical, piece of their position. So, before we can partner with people, we've got to have a relationship. And before you have a relationship, you got to actually meet people. And that's not only, with your athletic department, whether it's coaches and staff, but also your campus partners and also a lot of constituent groups in the community as well.
You are going 4 miles down the road from Creighton to Omaha. So That's a unique situation, especially when you're moving into this chair. Do you feel fortunate to stay in town?
Very fortunate. And, the one advice, you always get from people in this industry is you need to be really, really selective about, that job, right? It's your first AD job, and it's got to be the right one, right? It's got to be one that you can see yourself in for a long time. And so I was very fortunate that popped up in the same, city that I am. I mean, quite literally, this evening, I'm going to put my everything in my office here in the box, and I'm going to go 5 miles downtown and move into my next office. And that definitely helps, with transition. I think ultimately, whenever you're taking a new job, but definitely a step up, you just don't know what you don't know. But I would tell you, taking a job in the city you're familiar with and taking, a job at a school you've been competing with for sure. And then also, my wife is a UNO graduate and former student athlete there. You definitely have more familiarity moving into this position at UNO than you would if you took a job elsewhere. And I think that allows for, a quicker transition and a more in-depth transition that will hopefully put us in position to succeed at UNO earlier than we otherwise would have.
Along those lines, I think nationally, we know the success you can have in Omaha because of what Creighton has been able to do. Do you bring any blueprint with you to Omaha? And is that a fair comparison, Omaha to Creighton and maybe expecting some similar success in the not too distant future?
Well, I certainly think there's some similarities. Just there's only 2 D1 schools in Omaha, right? And we have one more D1 school down the road in Lincoln. And what's unique about Nebraska is, it's not a pro market, right? And there's such incredible support, specifically intercollegiate athletics, especially here in Omaha. So one of the things that was very attractive about this UNO position was the crossover, not only market-wise, but also the constituent groups in the community. There are a lot of donors that certainly are involved at Creighton, and they're also involved at UNL and also involved at UNO. And there certainly are a lot of opportunities to ingrain ourselves more at UNO in the community with a lot of businesses and leaders in the community that I certainly already have a relationship in. So there is significant crossover in the constituent groups in the community, but also, the one thing that I do love about Omaha is it will support a winner, right? And you see that in Lincoln football, right? The sellout streak they have. You see that with Creighton basketball, with it being top 5 in attendance. If you look at our hockey program at UNO, not only does it have a great support now, but at one point it was top 5 in attendance consistently in Omaha. So, this city will support intercollegiate athletics, and especially, a program that's experiencing success.
And you walked me right into my next question, which was, you're coming from Creighton, and you could argue basketball there is the focal point to a school where men's hockey right now is probably your big dog. And we were just looking through your background, West Virginia, Creighton, and seeing that maybe not a lot of hockey experience. Have you had to study up, and what's that transition like?
Well, everyone always assumes I don't follow hockey in the first place, right? Hockey it's a great sport. And what's unique about hockey is, the landscape for the sport, right? It's really comprised of one sport conferences, right? I mean, you've got 6, there's really 63 schools, I believe, that participate at Division I level. And right now, what makes me comfortable with UNO is we've got a great coach in place with Mike Gabinet. We have Mike Kemp that's really going to be able to assist me on the hockey front. And then also, we have a university president, and President Ted Carter, who was an intercollegiate athlete in hockey, right? So, we've experienced a lot of success on the ice, and we have everything we need in place on the ice. I think, the opportunity for us is, how do we continue to make our hockey games attractive for fans? How do we increase our attendance? How do we become more involved in the community? How do we gain more support investment-wise from the community into our hockey program? I've said this obsessively over the past couple of weeks, but, our hockey program right now is the most successful Division I men's sport in the state of Nebraska. Right? It's not currently Creighton men's basketball. It's not anything in Lincoln. If someone's going to win a national championship in the men's sport in the state, it is our hockey program. So we need to continue to pound that in the community over and over. And again, encourage people to come see a game. And also, I think consequently, at some point, there will be more investments in our program.
As a native Minnesotan, I assume everyone follows hockey, just so you know. I just don't know what it's like running the program as an athletic director. No. Had to clear that up.
It's a great question. It's a great question. It's definitely something we discussed in depth. But again, I feel more than comfortable knowing, the head coach and staff we have in place, and also the support system already, in place. And, what can I come in and help keep this train rolling down the track? And that's the question. That's certainly something I look forward to doing for a hockey program.
You mentioned your wife earlier as a former UNO student athlete. I've got her in the Athletic Hall of Fame there. So that begs the question, how are you going to beat that?
I can't. It's sort of been a nightmare the last 2 weeks of how many people have reminded me that she's a superior athlete in our marriage. So, what? She's a big part of what we're going to do in the future. She's got a great name on campus, and she's passionate about it. And certainly, part of my interest in this position was understanding from her and, her circle of former student athletes, not only, what the transition has been for UNO to D2 over the past 10 years or so, but also the opportunities. They've had a lot of successes at the school at the D2 level. They've had some success at the D1 level as well, but also walking in the job, understanding the challenges that go along with it will help us ultimately be more successful moving forward. And she'll have a big part in that for sure.
She casts a big shadow as you get ready to
She
start.
does. Yep.
As your first official day tomorrow, Adrian, best of luck. Congratulations, and thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. And if there's anything we can do for you in the future, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thanks.